Good morning, my students in grade 7. How are you today? I hope everybody of you is well, and I hope that you are waiting for me to have your literature lesson today. Today we are going to start with the first poem in our quarter 4, which is Turtle Watchers. Before we go through the lines and the verses of Turtle Watchers, and before we speak about Turtle Watchers and hear and read some of the verses of the poem, I would like you to know that our poem today actually has a lot of similes and metaphors. I'd like you also to know some and remember what does it mean simile, what does it mean metaphor. So I'm going to start sharing this with you in order to know what is metaphor versus simile and what are the differences between metaphors and similes. Metaphors comparing two like things by saying one is the other. So we do not use the word like, we do not use the word as, we do not use the word unlike. For example, have you heard some of these metaphors are everywhere? Like when I say, I'm a lion. Actually, this is metaphor. I'm not a lion. Homework was a breeze. This means it was so easy. Okay, he's my knight in shining armor. You were my guardian angel. The classroom was a zoo. So when I say the classroom was a zoo, I think you remember now some of the classes of others actually were like zoos. So when I say the classroom was a zoo, this doesn't mean we have animals inside. We are not a zoo, not in a zoo, but actually this means that the classroom is a kind of a mess. The teacher is a dragon. This means also not that you are a dragon teacher, but actually this means that the teacher was so angry or is so angry. So this is what we mean by the word metaphor. We didn't use the word like, we didn't use the word unlike, we didn't even use the word as or as if. Okay, what is the simile? The simile is directly compares two different things by using the words like, unlike, or as we said before. For example, he's sleeping like a log. He's sleeping like, or he sleeps like a log. Log means a part of a tree, as you see. When I say he sleeps like a log, it doesn't mean that he is a log. But I use the word like or the word as here means that this is simile. I am as happy as a clam. So here I'm as happy as a clam. So I just use myself or liken myself to a clam. Okay, so this because the clam has a shape of a smiling mouth. Okay, here are more similes. When I say as smooth as a stone, thick as a brick, busy like a bee, as blind as a bat, neat as a pen, the eye sculptor's hand fluttered like hummingbird wings. So this means it is so fast. Okay, so this is what I mean by the word simile and the word metaphor. Okay, let's stop to this point. I just wanted to make a kind of storming before you go through the poem of today. In the beginning, before I start the poem of today, I like you to hear Linda Hogan, the poet of today's poem, Turtle Watchers, while she is saying her poem. So let's go to Linda and listen to her. Sorry, let's have Linda's video, but just give me a minute in order to prepare it. Yes. Let's go to Linda's video. Here is Linda, and listen to her if you please.
Turtle watchers. Old mother at water's edge used to bow down to them. The turtles coming in from the sea, their many eggs, their eyes streaming water like tears, and I'd see it all. Old mother as if in prayer. The turtles called back to where they were born. The hungry watchers standing at the edge of trees hoping for food when darkness gathers. Years later, swimming in murky waters, a sea turtle swam beside me, both of us watching as if clasped together in the lineage of the same world, the sweep of the same current, even rising for a breath of air at the same time, still watching. My ancestors called them the keepers of doors, and the shore a realm to other worlds, both ways. And water moves the deep shift of life back to birth and before, as if there is a path where human beings truly meet, as if I am rounding the human corners.
Okay, thank you, Linda. This is what we had actually with Linda Hogan, the poet of this poem. Let's move to another point, which is what does this mean? Let's read the poem again in order to remember the words of Linda Hogan and in order to have chance to paraphrase it, to find the figures of speech which are simile and metaphor as we agreed before. Let's go. Okay, let's read the poem here, Turtle Watchers. Okay, as you see here, this is your book, Turtle Watchers by Linda Hogan. Okay, we will read and then we will analyze the poem, and we will speak about the theme, we will speak about the figures of speech, we will paraphrase the lines and speak about what did Linda Hogan mean when she wrote this poem. Old mother at water's edge used to bow down to them, the turtles coming in from the sea, their many eggs, their eyes streaming water like tears, and I'd see it all. Old mother, as if in prayer, the turtles call back to her to where they were born. The hungry watchers standing at the edge of trees, hoping for food when darkness gathers. Years later, swimming in murky waters, a sea turtle swam beside me, both of us watching as if clasped together in the lineage of the same word, the sweep of the same current, even rising for a breath of air at the same time, still watching. My ancestors called them the keepers of doors, and the shore realm to other worlds, both ways, and water moves the deep shift of life back to birth and before, as if there is a bath where beings truly meet, as if I am rounding the human corners. This is the poem of Linda Hogan. But what does she mean? But what she already said. Let's have this presentation, which is speaking about the theme of the poem. The theme actually it speaks about watching the life of a turtle and the beauty of nature. Okay, because it speaks about the life cycle of a turtle from the time it is in kind of an egg till it became or it becomes a big turtle which can protect itself. Okay, the purpose for writing this poem is uh, showing us the life cycle of turtles and how amazing it is. So this is the focus. So what is the meaning of the poem? The meaning of Turtle Watchers is that a life or life is a cycle of life and death. It starts always with life and ends with death because the watchers are predators waiting for a chance at the eggs. Just the predators want to eat these eggs. But the baby turtles, when they hatch, make a run for their lives to the sea, and it continues like that forever. It becomes a big turtle, an adult turtle, and then it lays eggs, the eggs hatch, and so on. So this is what exactly uh, uh, Turtle Watcher means. As you see here again, in Turtle Watchers, the poet spoke about the life cycle of the turtle. But what are the figures of speech here in this poem? Let me share this file with you. Turtle Watchers, uh, again, old mother at water's edge used to bow down to them. The turtles coming in from the sea. There are many eggs, so the turtle is laying its eggs beside the sea. Their eyes streaming water like tears. Their eyes streaming water like tears. This is a clear simile. We have here the word like, and he uses the word water before like and the word tears. So the water that comes out of the eyes of the turtles or the turtle seems like tears. And I see it all, old mother, as if in prayer. This is personification because it looks like the mother when it lays eggs, like a person who is in prayer, steady, and he doesn't move, he doesn't speak, he doesn't make anything. So this is the mother when she lays its eggs. The turtles call back to where they were born. This means that they run back to the sea. The hungry watchers, the predators, the hungry watchers. This is metaphor. Standing at the edge of trees, hoping for food when darkness gathers. Here, this is another metaphor because it uses the word gathers as if darkness is a kind of a blanket or something that is gathered together after the mission is over. Years later, swimming in murky waters, a sea turtle swam beside me, both of us watching as if clasped together. This is another metaphor because as if clasped together means as if we both of us are connected, linked together. This means she wants to tell us that they are so close to each other. In the lineage of the same word, the sweep of the same current, even rising for a breath of air at the same time, still watching. My ancestor called them the keepers of doors. Her ancestors, her grandparents called the turtles the keepers of doors. Here is another personification because it likened the turtles like people who are keepers or who work like keepers at the doors of the world. And the shorter a realm to other words both ways, and water moves. Here is a personification, as if water is somebody who moves something, the deep shift of life. Here also is a metaphor because it wants to tell us that life is like a sea which is very deep, and that makes a lot of shifts. But what moves all these shifts, or what makes all these shifts, are the water itself. Back to birth and before, as if there is a path where beings truly meet, as if I am rounding the human corner. So we have here simile, versification, metaphor, and all of these figures of speech in our poem. I'd like also to tell you something about the poem. actually the poem deal with the human connection to nature and the environment. You have to look for the language when you study this to understand what language describes the relationship between a human being and the nature, between the feelings of human being and the nature. You have also to understand the meaning of the figurative language here, the metaphor, the simile. So when you study, focus on this by first understanding the literal meaning in order to understand the figures of speech. Okay, so when I say, for example, uh, um, in the line, for example, when I say I see a turtle swam beside me, both of us watching as if clasped together, as if connected together. This is metaphor because the meaning is clear. It wants to say that she was swimming close to the turtle which was swimming next to her. Another thing I want you to remember is the language of the poem. Okay, so the language is full of metaphor. A lot of is full of simile. Again, what is simile? Simile uses the words like the word as or unlike to compare, whereas metaphor don't use these words. Okay, so when I say such as their eyes streaming water like tears, it is clear that it is a kind of metaphor. Okay, this is what I want you to understand. Remember the paraphrase, the meaning. Okay, the meaning of the sentences here is very important. I'd like you to make a kind of research, okay, concerning all the poem of Linda Hogan. In your book, you will find a kind of description and a piece of biography about Linda Hogan. In the next time, inshallah, we will take what we see in nature and the sparrow. These are two other poems that are speaking about the connection between men or human beings and nature. I hope my lesson was clear today and hope you the best. Inshallah, wish you everything, every good thing, inshallah, in your life. And if you want anything, just feel free to ask me through Wikipedia page. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.